Hello, my friends. Wow, for the end of 2021, what challenges I have faced. And of course, you don't know until I tell you. So here we go. Coach Dean Brown here. And I'm wishing you a merry, amazing Christmas and a powerfully prosperous New Year. Christmas is past, New Year's is coming. But wow, what has been happening? Just to share with you some of the challenges. Last week, a little more than a week ago, massive internet challenges. Then this week, just right through Christmas, flu struck the whole house. We had to cancel all our gatherings, all our visiting, and it was just brutal. Recovering, thank God for LifeWave patches, man, oh man. The clock protocol from David Lynch has made a huge difference. I have recovered amazingly fast. I am almost back to normal, but I do have a little bit of a frog in my throat, and I am not French. That's why I have my Kangen 9.5. Tonight, we're talking about designing your future, my friends. Thank you for being here. This is where I share with you Michael Hyatt's smarter framework for setting your goals for 2022. I'm going to show you what it takes to change your paradigm and be in that place where 2022 is not ruling you, but you're ruling it. This is where it starts. This is where the rubber meets the road, my friends. And of course, I'm so happy to be here. I help coaches, consultants, C-suite executives, any of those big ticket business guys that are struggling with a lack of results and cracking that code to become more productive, work fewer hours per day, fewer days per week. Yes, indeed. So that you guys can reconnect with your passions, because this is what life should be. We shouldn't be working to live. Let me say that right. I don't want to get that wrong. We shouldn't be living to work. We should be working to live. That's what I want to say. We want to get to that place where we're getting more sales, scaling revenue, maximizing our results and our team results. And just being in that place where we can really enjoy living life to its fullest. So I'm happy to be here with you guys. Tonight, it's all about designing your future. I'm so happy to be sharing this with you tonight. So episode 3, previously I shared with you the first 2 steps to getting to this place. The last thing I shared with you was just before Christmas, and it was all about the 8 questions, how you can just get to that place where you know what it is, where you're filling that gap from what didn't work to what will work, and getting ready for the new year, how to envision it, how to feel right about it, be in that place where it matters to you. So of course, this is what we want to do. We want to be in that place where we can make that difference. So, you ready? My friends, this is where it gets fun. And I am not actually going to be sharing with you the next step in this process tomorrow, because I'm doing an interview with an amazing Haley Rowe tomorrow afternoon, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So be here with me for that. Then I will be going into the next episode on the Thursday following. Got to slam that stuff in for the end of 2021, my friends. So here we go. Okay. And of course, I'm sure that you're starting to think about New Year's resolutions. I'm sure you've made some New Year's resolutions in the past. I have. And there was a time when I totally sucked at it. I would be one of those people that just was horrible. I wouldn't get past the first week, maybe the first month. And then I would start to lose out on my focus, lose out on my inspiration, lose out on that new goal. And I didn't have a design. I didn't have a pattern. I didn't have a plan, right? So it was like listening to people say that thing where, they make the New Year's resolution that they're going to go to the gym and get lots of exercise. And then you see the post, got ready for the gym, packed my gear, and went for a burger instead. Or, don't judge me, I'm just sitting here with my wine and a box of chocolates trying to fill the void like everybody else. Things like that, where people are realizing that, 2, 3, 4 days a week, 2 weeks in, to their New Year's resolution, promise to themselves that they're letting it slide and they've totally dropped off. Maybe you can relate. Maybe you've been through that. Or maybe you're one of those amazing people that sets goals and actually accomplish them, achieve your goals. And if that's the case, and I want to hear your comments, I want to hear what you have to say. What system do you use? You know that this year, like every other year, millions of North Americans are going to make these New Year's resolutions. And we know that, maybe stick it out a few weeks, less than half are going to go 6 months. And research shows that only 8% actually stick with it and end up successful in their New Year's resolutions. The truth is, my friends, change can be hard. Yes, indeed. The average person, as a matter of fact, makes the same New Year's resolutions 10 years or more in a row, and they still don't manage to succeed. Excuse me, remnants of the flu. The average person, like I said, can do that 10 years or more. And even after a heart attack, only 14% of people make any lasting changes around exercise or diet. Now, not everybody loses. Now, there's people that understand this. Fitness clubs, for example, they bank on this in a big way. I've actually read a report a while back that said one chain has 6,000 members for one location, but only for 300 people at a time. What's that tell you? Well, obviously they're overselling their capacity with year-long contracts, knowing that very few people are going to show up. 6,000 members with only room for 300. Man, oh man, how many people are going to show up consistently? Well, let me tell you, the ones that do, the ones that show up are the ones that win. Like Manowar says, those that try will succeed. Those that never try, they will only fail. So let's avoid those funny tweets, those sad statistics, because I'm going to change all of that for you. We want to get into that place where we're changing health, wealth, relationships, personal development. And we want to move that needle for you. We want to make sure that actually something changes for you, my friends. Of course, we don't want to embrace the old doom system that most people use, because that's why you don't succeed with your New Year's resolutions. And like I said, resolutions are not enough. You need something more. And in this episode, my friends, we're going to take those resolutions, your commitments, your aspirations, and to transform them into a powerful, compelling, written goal system. This is designed by Michael Hyatt. He's got a 7-part framework that he shares that I'm using. And it's the first time I've been introduced to it, just recently through something that I'm doing for myself. And I am excited. I am looking forward to this making a huge difference for me. Of course, we are going to be writing our goals down. This is why I'm doing this with you, because we need to learn to write our goals down. Studies show, now there's a common one that's actually, what would that be, an urban myth, that says if you write your goals down, that'll help you achieve them. And that is an urban myth. However, someone took that a little further and they said, you know what? I want to do a study. And that person was named Professor Gail Matthews from the Dominican University of California. She did a study on this, and she wanted to know, what is the power of writing down the goals? She took 267 people, tracked them over a couple of years, and discovered, among other things, that they had a 42% greater chance of achieving their goals merely by writing them down. So we're going to go even further with this, because writing brings clarity. It states your intention. Oh, my cat wants out of the room. I guess I better let him out. Close the door on him. I had a feeling he might do that, but that's okay. Sexy moment. I am back. And here we are. We're still talking about goals. And my cat had a goal to get out of the room. But like I was saying, writing your goals down, that allows you to state your intention, and it allows you to review it, build your resolve, set a level of intensity that gives directions to your thoughts and actions. And even when you're not fully focused on the goal, you can remind yourself to get back in there. You can re-inspire yourself because those written goals are so easy to review. Of course, we're going to use that proven formula from Michael Hyatt's system. And of course, it's a version of SMART goals. I'm not sure if you've heard of SMART goals. Many people have. Many people use them. Very old system. I think it came out in the 80s. General Electric, actually, I think, started that. And lots of people have, kind of worked with it, changed it around. Michael, what he did was he added 2 things to it. He went from SMART to SMARTer. And I'm going to explain how that works tonight, right? So the whole thing about that first S is that we want to be specific. We want to narrowly define the goal. The more narrow, the better. We all know focus is power. That's what the law of attraction is all about. That's what meditation is all about. That's what just having a daily plan is all about. So we want to create more force in that which we do. And we want to reduce friction. We want to reduce excuses. We want to make sure that we set this up so that we actually succeed. So we want to have specific goals. Okay, vague goals don't inspire us. How can they? They're too vague to mean anything. And it's hard to know where to put that little bit of effort and creativity to actually invest it in yourself. What is there to invest if it's vague? We want to be specific. We want to be precise because we want to create a channel for our problem solving skills. We want to put our effort into a place that makes sense. We want to define that and get more out of it. And to formulate a smarter goal, we've got to identify exactly what you want to accomplish. Like, for example, it's not very specific to say I would want to write a book. That's too vague. What specific book is it that you want to write? The title, the topic, the time frame. When do you want to complete it? All these things. Here's another example. Learning photography, for example. Is that specific? No. Oh, Mike, good to see you on, my brother. It's very good to see you on. And I'm very happy to have you here. Look at this. Mike, my brother, I want to share. Oh, wait, is there some more people here? Yes, indeed. Oh, that's just talking about, oh, look at that. New Year's resolutions could be any time of the year. Any time is a good time to start. You're absolutely correct, Connie. And Brother Mike, Merry Christmas, my friend. Yes, indeed, and Happy New Year. It's time for the New Year's fun to start, brother. And that's what I'm talking about tonight. Thank you for your comment, Connie. Appreciate that. I just noticed that there just now. And Mike, boom, when the second one come up, both of them come up. So I guess StreamYard's having some technical difficulties, but it's all good, my friends. Thank you for being here with me. I really appreciate your time. And of course, I love you guys. And thank you for being here because I'm going to change some shit for you guys tonight. So, of course, the whole idea is we want to have specific goals. Okay. So what I was just mentioning about photography, you don't want to just learn photography. There's like lots of stuff to learn about photography. Maybe you would want to say, to be more specific, CompleteLynda.com's photography 101 course. Like, be specific. Got my tongue cut around my eye teeth there, my friends. But anyways, that's specific. It's narrow. It meets the criteria. The second attribute of this smarter framework is that we want to be in a place where we're dealing with a measurable goal. We want to be able to put it in a place where we can judge ourselves against the goal. There's 2 reasons for this. The most obvious is, how do you know if you've reached it or not? If it's not measurable, you've got to be specific. It's got to be measurable, right? So if it's not very helpful or inspiring to say that you want to make more money this year than last, how much more? By doing what? By what date? That's measurable. There's a big difference between a small cost of living raise and driving your commissions up 30%, right? So here we go, my friends. Oh, and we have someone from another different language that's happening again. I can't understand what that language is, my friend, but welcome to the show. So anyways, same with getting fit. Saying you want to lose weight doesn't do much. It's not objective enough. Saying you plan to lose 30 pounds is different. Saying when and what exercise you're going to use to lose that 35 or 30 pounds or whatever it is, which is, of course, the number of pounds I got to lose for my surgeries. But when the goal is measurable, we know the criteria for success. We know what we need to do to get to that achievement level where we're going to cross the finish line with success. The second reason that you need to be able to make these goals measurable, my friends, is because you want to be having fun. You want to be able to chart your progress. And half the fun of working with these goals is watching yourself succeed, saying, you know what, I'm getting there. I'm losing the weight. I'm in that place where it's actually making a difference. And it's been proven that we experience the strongest positive emotional response when we make progress on the most difficult goals. So the tougher it is, the more worthwhile it is. That's what I'm trying to share with you. But what are you going to measure exactly? How do you use these measurements? Break those goals into two separate categories, my friends: achievements and habits. So, of course, both are good. You want to have achievements, you want to have habits, but a habit is not an achievement. An achievement is not a habit, because habit is ongoing. An achievement is like you get there, you're done, and it's over, right? So the whole idea is the achievement is one time. The habit is an ongoing thing. It's, you want to reach a milestone, but you want to set the goalpost further. You know how the government's been moving the goalpost all the time? Well, that's kind of like what a habit is. They're in the habit of changing the rules, and we want to break that. There's a habit we want to break, right, my friends? But consider that summiting Everest, that's getting to the top of Mount Everest, is an achievement goal, right? Walking every day before breakfast is a habit goal. Both need to be measured, but not in the same way. So the authors of a book called The 4 Disciplines of Execution, the authors' names are Chris McKesney, Sean Covey, his dad wrote the seven Habits, and Jim Hewling. They talk about lag and lead measures. So I know this is technical, and you're probably going, oh my God, what are you talking about? But anyways, lag measures looks backward. And you want to know whether you've met the goal, for example. So did you summit Everest or not? You look back. Did you lose the 35 pounds or not? You look back. Lag measures are an excellent way to measure achievement goals because they're tied to the targets and the milestones. Lead measures work differently. They look ahead. So did you hit it or not? Right? We're talking about the activity that influences whether or not you will hit your target or not. And so they work very well, lag and lead measures, especially when the goal is connected to a major achievement that you're trying to put into place for your business, your family, your habits, your work, your hobbies, your spiritual development. All these different things are part of what I'm going to help you understand for setting your goals. For instance, if losing 35 pounds is the lag measure, right? Then weekly cardio and daily check-ins with a fitness app or something like that could be the lead measure, because that's part of the habit that will enable you to achieve your weight loss goal. So you can blend this in, and you can be in a place where you can use these tools and get better results. So the third attribute of smarter is actionable. So we want to be in that place where we're understanding that goals are fundamentally about what you're going to do, what you're going to do different. As a result, it's essential to get clear on the action that you want to take or that you're going to need to take to achieve those goals when you're writing them down. What is your focus? And you want to use an action word, a verb that is all about action. It prompts you to do something to get there. So you don't want to say I am, or I'm going to be, or I'm going to have. You want action words like quit, run, finish, eliminate, something that's going to be feisty and get you going. A couple of examples would kind of go like this. Be more consistent in blogging. Is that very actionable? No, not really. That's a state of being verb. That's like, meh. But if you were to say write 2 blog posts a week, that's actionable. That's something that's going to make a difference, because you got to work to it and you got to commit to it, and it's going to make a result in your online content and your business results and your client results, and all these different things that come together. So you want to make sure that it's actionable. And of course, you could say something like run for 30 minutes 4 times a week. That's more actionable than just saying be more health conscious. So, I mean, there's lots of different ways to look at this, my friends. Don't seduce yourself into making it easy on yourself, and you don't get there. The fourth part is called risky, for the R. Hear me out. Now, this is important because previously it was realistic. Back in the day of the SMART goals, the R meant realistic. But what's realistic? Realistic. You're setting the bar too low. You're not testing yourself. You're not pushing yourself. You're not giving yourself a worthy goal. That's like listening to the ego to avoid loss rather than achieve a gain. You know, that's we got to push ourselves harder than that. And we've got to really set a standard and set our goals on a higher level, because failing feels like losing, my friends. And we're tempted to stay comfortable just by setting small goals so we can easily reach that goal in the name of being realistic. But what have you done? You haven't stretched yourself. You haven't done anything. You're more likely to slack off when you reach that goal. Focusing on it is, supposedly realistic, but it's not really going to trigger your natural impulses. And you just essentially, you're going to want to avoid loss, and you're going to want to avoid accomplishment rather than achieve it, right? Everything is realistic, my friend. You're absolutely right. But the catch is you want the goals to be risky. You want the goals to be risky, because nothing ventured, nothing gained, my friend. And we want to be in that place where we're not making little plans, because it doesn't have any magic to stir our blood. And they'll probably not be realized because you'll fade off. Make big plans, aim high, get up there and work on it. And of course, that's proven. When you've got more of a risk involved as opposed to realistic, push it a little, then you're going to find yourself working at it harder. And it's going to be a more worthy goal. You're going to be more satisfied with the end result, right? And you're going to have more motivation. You're going to require more creativity to get there. And the end result will have a greater satisfaction because you pushed yourself. When goals are set too low, people often achieve them, but they stop, right? Look who's here with us tonight. Dana. Magic happens when you're outside your comfort zone. So happy to see you tonight, Dana. And of course, we have the whole family here tonight, it seems, right? Thank you for being here, my friends. But of course, when we get to that place where when we achieve an easy goal, we haven't exceeded ourselves by much. And it's kind of like stopping looking after you found what you're looking for. Why do we always stop looking when we found what we're looking for? If we kept looking, what could we have found, right? There we go, brother. You'll never aim high. You'll never know if you could have done it. And there you go. Thank you, Dana, for being here. And you're absolutely right, my brother. If you don't aim high, you'll never know what it could have been that you could have gained. So I just want to share that with everybody. You're catching on, my friends. You're catching on, right? Because we want to have a situation where difficult goals kind of give us a more likely generated enthusiasm, higher levels of performance. They push us further. We get more out if we put more in. So let's just say that you're a sales manager of a manufacturing plant. You've been growing at about 5% a year for the last several years. This year, you're going to set your goal at 6%. Is that going to inspire you to heighten your performance, to really, get out there and improve your team? No. Small goals are just not very compelling, my friends. We want to be in that place. If we want to win, we need to ignore our ego and go beyond the natural urge to play it safe. Like Dana said, jump out of that comfort zone, right? Set some risky goals. 15%. There you go, girl. Right? This is bullet train thinking. 20%. Look at this. Look at the way it's going, right? So I couldn't agree more, Dana. Push that. Push it. Push it. Right? I mean, in how many seconds you went from 15 to 20%? That's a beautiful thing. Now, this is how the bullet train came into existence in Japan. So it used to be like 6 hours to get from Tokyo to Osaka. And it slowed down business with these guys on the train for so long. and they wanted to reduce the time it took. And they didn't just say like half an hour, they wanted to cut it in half. So that meant that they had to scrap all the old school stuff and rethink the whole problem, revolutionizing the Japanese train transit system entirely in the process. Now they have the world's fastest trains. So with the risky goals, we got to leap out of our comfort zone and into our discomfort zone, my friends. It looks different for everybody, of course, because everybody has a different level of risk. So, of course, you miss 100% of the risks you don't take, right? You're starting to sound like Wayne Gretzky there, Dana. But I want to share with you 3 emotional markers, my friends, to keep in mind that will let you know that you're in the discomfort zone. First of all, if it's making you scared, if you're feeling fear, uncertainty, doubt, you're on the right track, because that's like risky, right? You are Canadian, Dana, and that is the powerful truth of it all. Wayne Gretzky was a force for hockey, and he set some risky goals. My goodness, so he did. So, of course, we want to be afraid. We want to be uncertain. We want to have some doubt so that we know that we're on the right track. Lots of people shrink back from those emotions. I'm saying lean in, get in there, embrace that fear. Let them world know that you're not being intimidated, that you are in a place where you're going to make a change and everybody's going to go, wow, look what you did, right? Use those markers. Let yourself know you're on the right path. But how do you know if your goal is challenging or just crazy? I mean, we don't want to be in a place where there's no hope, right? There's a difference between discomfort and delusion. So, for example, if I was going to play on the PGA Senior Tour, for instance, anybody that's played golf with me knows that is delusional. I am not that good. So making a goal to get to the PGA Senior Tour is not anywhere near something that I can do. It's delusional, and I can't do it. So don't go there, right? I remember reading about Michael Hyatt when he was listening to a story about someone else that was teaching a program, and an employee said he was going to set a new goal for, and of course, never say never, Dana. But man, oh man, at 57 years old, I mean, I know what's delusional and what's not. I've had the experience. I can tell. And here we are in a place where, right, what I'm talking about is this, in this talk that Michael Hyatt listened to, he heard Dave Ramsey talk about it, a sales employee saying he was going to set a goal of calling a massive number of new leads in a certain period of time. And Dave said, dude, no, man, you'll never do it. And he showed them that, there isn't enough available time in the week to actually do that. So being on his own, there's no way that could have happened. And this is what I'm talking about. Just don't be delusional. Be in that place where it's discomfort. Yeah, but it's doable discomfort, right? And you don't need, okay, now to help you along with this, we're just talking about one goal. You don't need one crazy goal to land in the delusional zone. Sometimes you can drift there with accumulated demands of multiple goals. So you can be in that place where you realize, wait a second. And I hear what you're saying, Dana, no such word as can't. That's right. But let's keep in mind realistic. And I agree. If it's something that you think you can't do on your own, get a team and make it happen. But we want to be in a place where we realize that we are actually going to be in that place where we can make the difference and achieve those goals, right? Don't invite defeat, the agony of defeat, sore feet. But anyways, don't invite that, and don't leave yourself frustrated and discouraged because there's no hope. I agree, Dana, that yeah, it's more like you. Yes, I hear that, sister. But don't put yourself in that place where there's, don't say never. And I mean, never say never, and don't use the word can't and all that stuff. But right, if there's too many small goals, you'll have trouble focusing on one. 100%. I couldn't agree more. But you want to give yourself an opportunity to make a difference, right? So in that place, you want to consider that time is part of what you set up. Let me see what Mike has to say here. There you go, right? Anybody's watching this and enjoys listening to this, you're already ahead of the game because your mind is open to self-development and growth. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. That is awesome. So now we're going to the next part of the acronym, and this one is T. We're up to the T now of smarter, and we're talking about time keyed. So what we want to be in the place of understanding is that we want to be able to consider deadlines or frequency, some sort of time trigger that allows us to, when you want to lose that 35 pounds, you want to allow there to be some urgency in there. I mean, if you just say lose 35 pounds, that could happen in 10 years. It could happen in 20 years. But, right? And if it's a New Year's resolution, it could happen every year and not happen, right? But it's still out there somewhere. But if I say I want to lose 35 pounds by June 1st, then I've not only created a challenge, but also a focus. And we're in that place where our focus has a deadline, and that deadline demands attention and spurs action. And it gives us better inspiration to get in motion because the clock is ticking, right? Now, here's another example. Acquire 5 new clients. By when? Acquire 5 new clients by the end of January. But here's a warning, right? If you're thinking about assigning deadlines, don't make them all together. Don't have 10 goals all with the same deadline. That's a little bit of a tricky one. You want to be aware of what you're doing to yourself. Don't discourage yourself by thinking, oh my goodness, I've got so much to do, or I've got so much time that you don't get started in time. Effort has to expand to fill time. The tighter the deadline, the more productive you can be, my friends. Trust me on that. If you give yourself a bit of a risky, uncomfortable, time-keyed goal, then you're going to find yourself in a place where you can cut all kinds of time off and still get 100% of the work done, right? So you want to be in a place where you can be realistic, but risky as well. Now, the main thing to watch is your bandwidth. What I'm talking about here is stacking deadlines too close, right? Last minute Nelly right here, right? And if you're the last minute Nelly, then that's one of those where if your goals are all timed to be achieved at the same point in time, all on, for argument's sake, December 31st, which, hopefully those are 2021's goals. You're going to be in a place where you're leaving too much time. I'll start it in June, and then June hits. Oh, I'll start it in July, and then July hits, and then you want to avoid having more than 3 major deadlines per quarter. You want to be in that place where you can give yourself focus, right? Yeah, I can relate to that, Dana. You're super productive the day before your deadline. Many of us are, but what I find is that the quality's not there, and the stress is. But that's okay. I mean, we all do things the way we do them, and it's all good to be in that place. This is about individual goal setting. So this is a generalized talk that you need to specify for yourself. So we're going to get to that place. We're almost at the end of the acronym, and I'm going to give you a little bit of guidance how to go about this when the time comes. But when it comes to ongoing activities, deadlines are, you know what? It's a habit. What do I need a deadline for, right? It's the whole idea with a deadline is to give a key activity to time. And we want to make sure that we're triggering ourselves to spur ourselves into action and maintain those habits to get to the next level, right? Exercise more this year is a recipe for inaction. But saying run for 30 minutes at the park every morning at 7 a.m. sets you up to win. There's wins in that one, right? So keep these subtle realities in mind, my friends, because we're talking about changing our paradigm here. We're talking about being in that place where we're going to make a difference for ourselves, our family, our business in 2022, and we're going to show the government how to do it, because those buggers are not doing it well. We won't go there right now because that's not my opinion. That's just the truth. Anyways, setting yourself up with a proper goal, a time key goal, is just setting yourself up to tell yourself exactly when you're going to do whatever it is you need to do. And being in that place where you have that inspiration allows you to get to work, right? Now, oh my goodness, this is such a challenging talk, because the whole idea is life gets busy, right? And we want to be in a place where we want to bake in a time trigger into the goal. If we give ourselves the opportunity to give ourselves a time limit, our success rate, as shown by research, goes from 18 to 90%. And that time trigger helps drive our behavior that makes the difference. Now, the sixth part of the smarter is that the goals need to be exciting, my friends. Not only risky, but exciting. We want to have fun. We want to be inspired, right? We stand a better chance of reaching our goals if we're internally motivated to do it, right? External motivation might work for a while, but if we're not getting something from in here out of it, we're going to lose interest, and especially if it's a long-term goal, right? If you're thinking about a personally compelling goal, you want to have the motivation to push through when things get tough. You want to be in that place where your inspiration doesn't get watered down by a sudden flood of the flu, lack of internet for 4 days, that sort of stuff. You want to be able to just focus on it, let it inspire you, let it engage your heart, and be willing to work hard to make it happen. So we're going to move forward to finding our why, of course, right? And we want to be in that place with the R is it's in that place where it's being how do I want to say this? The R part is actually in that I've lost my track of thought here, guys. I apologize. Sexy moment. But we want to be in that place where we're building ourselves up, not tearing ourselves down, right? We want to be in that place where we know that what we're doing is actually going to motivate us, going to build us up, and it's going to be realistic, and it's going to be something that is inspired by our whys. But remember, risky goals, that's the last part. We don't want to be tempted to quit, right? Now, with the R, you're going to be talking about relevant to your life. Meaning, exactly, Dana. Meaning. We want these goals to have meaning. They want to be relevant to your life. That's the R at the end. They need to be relevant. This is about alignment, guys. We want to be in alignment. We want to be seeking goals, setting goals, working on goals that actually mean something to us, that are actually going to build our lives up, actually going to be in a place where we are able to appreciate the end result because it's made a difference for not only ourselves personally, but for our business, for our jobs, for our family, for our kids, for our partners, right? Your parents, if you're a parent with young kids, it's going to be totally different compared to someone that's an empty nester. Or if you're going, if you're going to university, all these different things make a difference as to how you set up your goals, what they're going to be, how you're going to craft that goal in your life. It has to be relevant to you. You have to be in that place where, right, you just understand that if you start a weekend gobbling hobby, that might just put too much strain on your family, right? You need to set goals that are relevant and that you have actual circumstances and true interests in, so they align with your values. We want to be in that place where we're making a difference for ourselves without taking us out of the picture for everybody else. Of course, you don't know exactly how it's going to turn out, so you got to be careful when you set these goals. You got to be in that place of crafting them with purpose. Look at Dana go. Awesome to have you here, Dana, because I appreciate how you and I think so much alike when it comes to this sort of stuff. And of course, you want to avoid working yourself back into the delusion zone, right? Because you don't want all kinds of heartburn and stress and losing your hair. Well, if I had hair, I would pull it out, that sort of stuff. But anyways, specific, measurable, actionable, risky, time keyed, exciting, and relevant. Okay, so now what we're going to do now is I'm just going to talk to you about life domains. Okay, so the whole idea is there's 10 different domains that we generally have in our lives. There's intellectual, there's emotional, there's physical, there's marital, there's parental, there's vocational, which is our job or our career. There's avocational, which is our hobbies or leisures. There's financial and spiritual. So you need to select whatever makes any sense to you. Oh, you have a new coaching role at work. Way to go, Dana. Well done, sister. I'm proud of you. Good for you, right? As I mentioned, these domain goals, you have a spiritual goal now to be a good coach. You have an intellectual goal. You have an emotional goal. You have a vocational goal, right? So select the life domains that apply to you. If you're not married or you don't have children, then you can leave out the marital or the parental one. If you don't feel spirituality is relevant to you, then leave out that one. But it's up to you. The goal is to give you a guide that helps you assess your life so that you can help, or the guide can help you craft a set of goals. If you can get a goal in each of those domains, then it will completely blend in and align your life to be the most effective, the most aligned, the most powerful, purposeful, amazing end results, right? And of course, you'll know if you're pushing yourself enough. You really will. You don't want to burn out. You don't want to have stress. You don't want to go into a unnecessary place where you just, you realize, okay, wait a second, I'm way out of the discomfort zone and I'm into the delusional zone, right? Just focus on landing on goals that fit the framework. And if you're struggling, give me a deeper dive in the comments and I'll connect with you and I'll guide you through this so that you have a better hope or a better understanding of how to set the goals for yourself. Now, lots of people are used to setting career-related goals, but they don't always set other goals in the rest of the domains. And they leave that out, right? Engaged in your own life, Dana, 100%, right? But we want to be in that place where we're keeping a balance. Every domain deserves your attention because it's part of our lives, right? So congratulations. If you've understood this and if you want to go further, then that's, this is what it's all about. Watch this video over and over again. We've all made excellent progress because we are at the end of 2021 and we got here alive. We did it, my friends. And of course, in the next episode, which is not tomorrow, by the way, because I have an interview with Haley tomorrow, right? And here comes Dana. I'll show that everybody your comment there in a second, Dana, when I finish this thought. But we're going to be talking about in the next episode to carry on for this. It's going to be episode 4. We're going to be talking about your why, which is critically important and will enable you to keep going when the going gets tough. That's what we want. We want to keep going when the going gets tough, because look at what you just said. Can't be great at work if you're stressed at home, right, Dana? We want to keep going when the going gets tough, and we want to have our why clearly defined. And you and I have been through this in my coaching program before, Dana, where we talked about the why, and you're like, deeper? Really? Oh my goodness, I thought I was already going deep enough, but no, there's more levels to your why, and that's what we're going to talk about the next time. So thankful to have you here with me tonight, my friends. It's been a great pleasure to have you join me, and so much a pleasure to have Dana, Connie, Mike. I'm not sure who this other individual is. I can't. It's in a foreign language, but thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here, and of course, much love to you, my friends. Stick around, and I'll help you change your paradigm. Show up tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and I will be having an amazing interview with Haley Rowe. She is an amazing entrepreneur that does a lot of things very similar to me, and the crazy 7 whys, right? Believe me, I know, right? So thank you for that, Dana. I appreciate that. And by all means, my friends, much love. Hang in there. Keep coming back. Keep showing up for yourselves and your family and your job. Set those goals. Don't rush yourself. Be in a place where you understand why you're doing what you're doing and how to change it for the better. That's how you change your paradigms. That's what I'm here to help you do, my friends. Such a pleasure. And of course, if you're watching this as a replay, give us the hashtag replay. Let me know where you're watching it from. Whatever platform you're watching it on. Follow, like, heart, connect, subscribe, whatever the case may be. If you're on YouTube or Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever the case may be, happy to have you here. And I'm happy to be coming back to you in the near future. Much love, my friends. And I am so, so happy that 2021 is almost over. Much love, my friends.